Mr. Chairman, before I start my questions, I'd like to submit for the record an article from the New York Post by Mrs. Hemingway, entitled "Facts About the Zuckerbucks: How He Helped Swing the Electorate in 2020."
Without objection.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here today. Very important topic. It's one thing that you'll find very interesting being in this committee. There's often a lot of rhetoric from our friends on the other side of the dais about how Republicans can't seem to get over Donald Trump's loss in the 2020 election. But it's always them that bring it up. It appears that it's more that they are having a problem getting over it, not us. The fact is, why we're having these hearings is you have to recognize that the American people have a significant distrust in our election system. Right or wrong, we need to address that. There are instances of voter fraud. Whether there was a significant amount to swing the 2020 election or not is still up to for the debate. But we have to make sure that elections are equitable and they're fair. Regarding human nature, there's an old adage that if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, inevitably the people are going to believe it. But on the other hand, the truth is not always popular, and it's often very difficult to obtain, but it is always the truth, and that's what we're looking for here. Ms. Hemingway, I want to turn to CLTC grants that were given to my home state of Georgia, a state that President Biden won by a little over 11,000 votes. And according to the Foundation for Government Accountability, Georgia received $31 million in Zuckerbucks for the general election. Ms. Hemingway, why did Georgia receive nearly 9% of all Zuckerbucks when only 3% of the population of the country lives here? Did every county in Georgia get Zuckerbucks?
Thank you, Mr. Loudermilk. So it does seem that CTCL targeted Georgia more than most other states. They got a disproportionate amount of the funding that other states got. And CTCL likes to say, well, we gave to Republican states and to Democrat states. And in a sense, that's true. And CEIR, which is the partner organization, also gave a lot of money to Georgia. But they were targeting states that might be able to be flipped, and I think Georgia is a great example. It's a state that went 5 points for Donald Trump in 2016 after the influence of the Zuckerbucks funding that targeted the blue areas of Georgia. Georgia went, by 11,000 votes or so for Joe Biden. And it was just a long targeted project to influence the outcome of that state, it appears.
I don't mean to interrupt, but if they were taunting that they're giving to Republican states as well to be equitable, that would indicate to me that out of 159 Georgia counties, 159 counties would have received some funding. But from what I recall, they only provided grants to 43 of those counties, with Trump voting counties receiving an average of $1.91 per registered voter, while Biden voting counties received $7.13 per voter. Is that true?
Exactly. So in addition to them getting the largest percentage of funding of any state, you look at it on a county-by-county basis, and counties where they were attempting to get more votes out of Democrat voting counties got dramatically more funding than the Republican-based counties. And again, the targeting was in areas where they thought they could get the most votes.
So Democrat-leaning counties got 4 times the amount of Republican-leaning counties. Do you know why?
I would love to hear what they have to say about that.
Me as well. So what were the differences in the counties that received Zuckerbucks versus those that did not, other than they were more blue counties than red? I mean, they were more blue than red. Is there any other logical reason why they would receive more funds?
I can't answer that.
Okay. Do you have any idea how Fulton, Cobb, and DeKalb counties used their Zuckerbucks? So
Zuckerbucks were sold as a way to deal with the COVID crisis. You remember what it was like in 2020. We had government shutdowns everywhere. And it was very controversial, actually, at first to see Mark Zuckerberg, one of the world's wealthiest and most powerful men, coming into our election administration. But the way it was kind of pitched was, well, people need help buying personal protective equipment. And so people thought, well, I guess that makes sense that voting administration might need some help. Instead, I think it was only single digits, low single digits, that went to anything COVID-related like that. Instead, it was about ginning up, get out the vote efforts through the election administration office, again, in areas that were more likely to vote Democrat. And it really does make a profound difference when you're applying that to one group of people and not to others.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman.